Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, inshallah, I'm here to talk to you about the issue of fitna. The Prophet alayhi salatu wassalam, he told us in an authentic hadith narrated in the Sahih of Imam Muslim. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, fear the dunya. And then he told us right after that, fear the women. Brother Guled just spoke to you about the dunya and the dangers of the dunya. And for a person to protect themselves from the fitna, from the trial, from the tribulation, from the test of the dunya. Inshallah ta'ala, I'm here to talk to you about the second part of the hadith, which is the test and the trial and the tribulation of the women. So my brothers, you have to pay attention, because some of the ulama, they explain why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned these two things. Because the women and the dunya are part of the same thing, is it not? Is the woman not part of the dunya? But why did the Prophet separate the two? Because the woman, her fitna is the dunya. And the fitna of the man is the woman. When a woman tries to check for a guy, she doesn't do it because she likes you. It's because she likes your watch or your car. She likes your trainers. If you got that Louis Vuitton, that Gucci, I don't know if you guys have that in Coventry. This seems like we're in the outskirts, but in London, where I'm from, we've got a thing called Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and that's the kind of thing. Do you guys have that here? Yeah. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. This seems like more of a Lacoste kind of place. H&M. I'm joking. I'm joking. I was going to say Primark, but that would have been too disrespectful. I'm joking, Allah, I'm joking, I'll take it back. But the point is that the reason the girl, she checks for a guy is because she knows that the guy's got the dunya. The guy's going to go to work, he's going to buy her a car, he's going to buy her the jewels, he's going to buy her a house, he's going to take care of her, right? That's why she wants a man. She doesn't want a man because of the man. She wants a man because of what the man's going to give to her. The same way, when the guys run after the dunya, when the guys run after the world, when they run after the money, when they run after the cars, the clothes, they don't do it because they really like the car. Unless your brother Abu Bakr. The reason why they do it is because they know this was going to get the girls. This was going to get the girls. Reality is, and some of you may not know the truth of this because you might be like, in your teens, but, the brothers who are a little bit more older, who go to work, who've, kind of experienced the reality of life, will tell you that they would much rather be happy living in their mum's basement, eating food and curry or bris or whatever else is that they're making, where they don't have to worry about anything, not paying no bills. And they would really live life like a bum. But the only reason they don't is because they know they need to get married. They don't need to get a woman. They know that no woman is going to marry a guy who's still living in his mum's basement. He doesn't have a job. He doesn't provide for himself and nothing like that. So the only reason the guy goes out there and he does haram, for example, sells drugs, or he might even do it in a halal way, he gets a job and he makes money, is why? Because he knows this is what's going to get the girls. And the only reason that the woman, she goes and gets the guy, she dresses provocatively, she puts that makeup on for the guy, is why? Because she wants the money that the guy has got. Or she wants a guy who's going to treat her in that way. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ, he separated the two. And the reason I've given you this introduction is because if you missed it, sisters who are paying attention, even though the previous lecture was general and applicable to both male and female, the sisters should have been more clued on than the brothers. But now, brothers, since we're talking about the fitna that's directly your challenge, my challenge, then we have to really make sure we pay attention. But sisters, that doesn't mean that you guys can go and start wandering off and chit-chatting, because you have a central part to play in this discussion as well. If you are the fitna of the men, then you need to make sure that you take precautions and you also play your role and play your part, inshallah ta'ala. When you say that, that's when the feminists get upset, but don't worry, inshallah, we're gonna work on it as we go along. So first and foremost, brothers, I wanna talk to you in a way that many people might have not spoken to you, okay? Brothers, some of you have desires. Those of you who haven't, don't worry, you're young, and may Allah delay that for you as much as possible. But the ones of you who are elders, you've gone through puberty, you're starting to, you've had hormonal changes, you realize that, there's a species called a female, okay? And the female, you don't know why, but you're attracted towards the female. You like the female, you want the female, you want one. You might want 2, 3, 4, depending on your situation. I advise you to only get one though. But the point is that you want that, right? And I want to be the first to tell you, if you haven't already been told, brothers, please stop talking, that I want to be the first to tell you that there's nothing wrong with that. That desire for a woman is actually It's not just okay, it's actually praiseworthy. It's part of manhood. It's a part of being a man. A man who doesn't desire women is actually deficient in his rujula. He's deficient in his manhood. Why do I say this? Because the Prophet ﷺ was a man who had desire for women. The Prophet ﷺ said, from the things of this world that have been made beloved to me, from them is women. And we know he had 11 wives, alayhi salatu wasalam. But then above that, the Prophet said, the thing that is the coolness of my eyes is the salah. So it wasn't extreme or over the top in any way, shape, form. I want to mention to you a hadith in Sahih Bukhari. Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, he mentioned that the Prophet ﷺ had so much strength, so much desire. His manhood was so strong that he would be able to go and have intimate relationships with all of his 11 wives. All of his 11 wives, he would be able to go and be intimate with them. So Qatada rahimullah, who was a imam from the Tabi'een, he was a student of the companions, he said he had that strength. The Prophet he could like that strength, he had it there like that, he could go to 11 women. And he said, yes. Anas ibn Malik said, rather, we used to say amongst ourselves that the Prophet had the strength of 30 men. The Prophet ﷺ had the strength of 30 men. So this is something that is praiseworthy. And a man who doesn't have that, we say he has a deficiency in his manhood. And the reason I want to tell you that is because we live in a day and age where men are starting to get confused. Before they used to get confused, you know, he would be like, do I like guys, do I like girls? That's what a man would say. He would be confused. He would say, and a man would start thinking that he likes guys, right? But now it's worse. The guy is confused. Am I a guy or am I a girl? You've got kids that are 8, 9 years old, and then they say, rather, you know, his name's Alex. Say, no, call me Alexis. His name's Sam. No, call me Samantha. What's going on? So I'm saying it's problematic. So it's important for me to tell you, because of the fitna that you face, if you like women, you're on the right track. Takbir! You understand? So brothers, remember that. Guys, Allah created them for girls. When you get married, you marry a woman, okay? Inshallah. Okay, good. Now, just to give you an example furthermore, Abdullah ibn Umar. Brothers, please stop talking, okay? You guys are excited already. SubhanAllah, we ain't even got into the talk yet. Abdullah ibn Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhum, the son of Umar ibn Khattab, who was a great companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and a scholar amongst the Sahaba. Do you know how he used to break his fast in Ramadan? When you fast, what do you fast for? You fast from 3 things, right? You fast from food, drink, and intimate relationships, right? So most of us, when we break our fast, what do we break it with? With food, right? With what? With food, like a date, right? Or a samosa, if you're in Pakistan, right? But Abdullah ibn Umar used to open his fast with his wife. He used to open his fast by being intimate with his wife. That was his iftar. His iftar was his wife, okay? And that narration is mentioned by... It's Muhammad ibn Sirin rahimahullah who mentions that. So inshallah ta'ala, I've got many examples like that. The final one I'll give you, no, inshallah, that will suffice, inshallah ta'ala. So, the point I'm making here is that men are inclined to women and there's nothing wrong with that. But pay attention, and this is where it gets serious, and this is really what I want to talk to you about. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more time to not interrupt and talk. If you do, I can be a very friendly guy, but I can also be quite an embarrassing person for you, because I've got the mic and the camera. So if I point towards you, I'll put you on blast on social media. You understand? So behave, don't interrupt me again. Barakallahu feekum. The point I want to make to you is that men, they desire women, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem arises when the men try to go and they try to accommodate for that desire in a haram way. They will tell you, this is my girlfriend. And he'll be linking her, he'll be speaking to her, he'll be slipping and sliding into her DMs. This is dangerous for you now, and you're not allowed to do that. The same thing, which is halal, and which is a sign of a man's manhood, and you get rewarded when you do it with your wife. That same thing, if you do it with anyone other than your wife, or that which has been made lawful for you, it is from the greatest sins. A sin that is from the mubikhat, the sins that would destroy you and dip you into the hellfire. It is from those sins where the Prophet ﷺ said he saw a group of people who were in an oven. They were naked and a fire would be lit underneath them. And that fire would burn them and lift them and raise them so high that it was like they were going to come out the top of the oven and they will come back down. They were being tortured and burnt and roasted and toasted in this furnace over and over again. And the Prophet said to Jibreel, Ya Jibreel, who are these people? Why are they being punished in this way? And he said, these are the men and the women who used to fornicate. These are the men and the women who do zina. They would do haram things with each other and they were not married. So that same thing, which is a serious blessing, a serious sign of reward and manhood, can become from the greatest sins if you do it in haram. For that reason, my brothers, I'm here to talk to you about the danger of a woman. And when I say danger of a woman, my sisters, please don't get upset, because we're not necessarily saying here that you are in and within yourself dangerous. But there is a danger that can come from you if the man doesn't behave correctly and if the woman doesn't behave correctly. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say every woman is out there to seduce and get every guy. No, that's not what I'm saying. But the point is that if the sister doesn't take appropriate measures and the guy doesn't take appropriate measures, this is going to be a serious problem. And that problem will arise because the man has such a drive, has such a temptation for the woman that he's not able to control himself. So let's first and foremost talk about this issue. Forget boyfriend, forget girlfriend. I'm sure that I'm hoping that all of you, I'm not here to tell you this, you can't have a girlfriend. I'm hoping all of you guys know that. I'm here to go a step further. I'm here to tell you can't even look at a woman. I'm here to tell you can't even be friends with a woman. I'm here to say you can't talk to a woman. You know, enough of this, she's just my friend. Sisters are like, yo, he's just my friend. They're like, he's just like my brother. What do you mean? It's so gross. I'm not going to do he's my brother. And the next thing you know, like, it's incest. Because he's linking with the girl that was supposed to be a sister. That's exactly what's happening. And it doesn't work like that, because Allah told us, زُيِّنَ لِلنَّاسِ حُبُّ الشَّهَوَاتِ مِنَ النِّسَاءِ. Allah told us that Allah placed inside of the man desire for the woman. You desire her, my brother. You want her. Let's not beat around the bush. You like her. Men are not hanging around with girls because they're good at football, or they can go and bang weights in the gym together. There's only one thing that you want from her, consciously or subconsciously. So there's no way that you can be friends with her. Sisters, pay attention. Aisha radiallahu anha, she commented on this ayah and she said something powerful. She said, from the things that is our distress is that Allah started with the women. He started with us when He mentioned the various desires of a man. Because in that ayah, Allah mentioned men. He mentioned what? The desire for gold, for silver, for children, for fully bred horses, which would be the equivalent of cars today, occupation and career. These are things that we want, but the top of it was the women. The man, he wants the women more than he wants anything else. So because of that, Aisha radiallahu anha said, from our distress is that Allah started with us when He mentioned the desires of the men. For that reason, my sisters, you don't help the problem and help to kind of, cool the situation when you come out of the house when you're wearing makeup. Sisters wearing makeup is problematic now, because what you're doing is you're activating these desires, you're activating it, and that's problematic. Allah told you to cover yourself for that reason. And we're going to go into this in a little bit more detail, inshallah ta'ala, to show you how covering is not just to protect the men from the women, but it's also to protect the women from the men. We're going to come into that, inshallah ta'ala. So the point here is that because the woman, the man desires her so much, my brothers, you have to pay serious caution and protect yourself to staying away from the woman. Because if you get trapped in the trap of a woman, if she does trap you, because again, in case the feminists get upset, we're not saying every woman is trying to trap, but if you do, then that's going to destroy you. You will not be able to think right. Imam Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani rahimahullah said that when a woman captivates a man, he starts to not think straight. I've seen guys who are men, they're, guys who are gangsters, drug dealers, okay? Looking over their shoulder every single time they come out the house. No one can mess with them. But how did they get robbed? Or how did they get dealt with? Have you heard of something called a honey trap? Do you know what a honey trap is? It's good, there's no drug dealers here, but let me tell you. A honey trap is basically when you send a woman in. You send a woman into the guy. She'll take the guy privately, spend time, do haram with him, and then when she's distracted him, what will happen? Quickly they'll come, they'll stab him, they'll kill him, or they take his money away. So the biggest gangsters, they get what? They lose their mind, they lose their logic, everything flies out the window when a woman comes into the equation. Everything. And that's the extent to which a person will go crazy. We've seen guys getting violated by girls. Like, bro, she's playing you. She's playing you, okay? She's talking to 2-3 other men at the same time, and he's still like a little lap dog, still running after her. No, she'll change. No, she really loves me. No, it was my fault. No, bruv! Your mind is not functioning properly because the woman has captivated you. We've seen brothers, wallahi, brothers who are memorizing Quran, giving da'wah, seeking knowledge, going in. What have they done? They left practicing their religion because of a woman. She looked at him, she smiled. And what happened? He fell in. And he left the masjid. He left Quran, he left salah, he left all of these things. And he started to accommodate for her. I want to mention to you guys, inshallah ta'ala, some statements of the Salaf to show you the danger of the woman, because sometimes we take it for granted. When I say woman, again, I mean the fitna that can come from a woman, not the woman in and within herself. The Mawla of Hani said, majority of the sins of the people of the hellfire is due to women. Majority of the reason why people are going to end up in the hellfire is because of women. And you guys want to have friends that are females. You want to follow women on Snapchat. You want to follow women on Instagram. You want to like her posts. Sometimes, you know what? I think people on Instagram are the dumbest. Guys who follow girls on Instagram are the dumbest, yeah? I used to follow some brothers just to keep an eye on them. And a lot of them don't realize, well, they do later, but when you like something, it shows up on everyone else's feed. So when I'm just keeping an eye, like, who are these guys liking, who they follow, I'm saying, right, they're liking some very filthy pictures, very filthy things, right? So I'm saying that's stupid. But the point is that brothers, when they look at that girl's picture, they forget, I've got the imams that follow me. The brothers who are all in the masjid, the du'a, all the elders. My mom is following me, and he just clicks like. And he forgets that he's just like something filthy. And that's what happens. And these people, the reason they are going to end up in the hellfire is because of these sins, the sins with the women. The Prophet ﷺ said, if you guarantee me 2 things, if you guarantee me that you will protect 2 things, I will guarantee you Jannah. Guarantee what is between your 2 lips, your tongue. Your tongue, don't run it too much. And that which is between your legs, your private parts. Your private parts, because those are the things that are going to lead to the hellfire. And the majority of the people, they will end up in the hellfire because of this. Because of their tongues and because of that which is between their legs. Sa'id ibn al-Musayyib, rahimahullah, a student of the Sahaba, a righteous man, when he reached the age of 80, look at what he said. Is an 80-year-old man running after women? No, he's weak. His desires are weak. His drive is not as strong as a young brother who's roasting and just, he doesn't have that same kind of fitna. At the age of 80, he said, there is nothing that I fear more than the women. Nothing that I fear more than the women. At this age, he was blind from one eye. Ata ibn Abi Rabah, he said, if I was trusted with the treasury of the Muslims, all of the Muslim money, the zakat, this is money that, even if you mess up 1 penny intentionally, hellfire, because you're playing with the money that belongs to Allah, and the right of Allah is over this money, and it belongs to the people who it needs to be given to. He said, I would rather be entrusted with the treasury, and I'll be trustworthy. But he said, I don't even trust myself being alone for a second with an ugly woman. With an ugly woman. That's how they were. He was again a student of the Sahaba. And brothers are out here saying, we're just friends. It's just following her. She gives beneficial reminders on Snapchat. And this is a new thing I noticed coming up. Some of you may not be able to relate, but we've got practicing brothers following sisters who are wearing niqab on Snapchat and Instagram because they're giving reminders. Bro, it's because you like her voice. You can't, I saw some heads go down quickly. Yeah, unfollow her. Because she's telling you that, fear Allah, brother. There's no fear. There's no fear. She's like, brother, wallahi, in Jannah. And we know what you're thinking about in Jannah. So this is dangerous, wallahi. Shaitan comes at you from all these various different angles. I want to mention to you something that Sa'id ibn Musayyib said. The same Imam who said that at the age of 80, he said, there's nothing I fear more than the women. Look at what he said. He said, Shaitan will try to come to you from every angle. When Shaitan sees you, look at you, brother, you're growing your beard, huh? Your child's above your ankles. You're coming to the masjid. You're praying salah. You're giving sadaqah. You've left behind haram. You're memorizing Quran. Qiyamul layl, you're praying. You want to go umrah. You want to go hajj. You're working halal. You leave behind drugs. You leave behind music. You start to change. You start to turn good, huh? He said when Shaitan realized he can't stop you from doing any of that good, he can't stop you doing any of that with any evil, then he sends his main weapon. He sends the heavy artillery. He sends the woman. He sends the woman. And do you know why he sends the woman? Brothers, do you know why he sends the woman? Because Shaitan in and within himself is not strong. Shaitan in and within himself is weak. As Allah told us, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. Allah said, verily the plotting of Shaitan, the planning of Shaitan is weak. That's right, Shaitan, your greatest enemy, who wants to take you to the hellfire. Allah said Shaitan is weak. He doesn't have power over you. Shaitan, he doesn't. But when it came to the woman, if, like I said, not all women do this, but if this woman, she plots, she says, okay, I like his car. Okay, he looks nice. Maybe he'll get me a nice ring or whatever. She's going to plot. She's going to try to get you. She's going to try to tempt you. She's going to come out. When she's wearing makeup, she's plotting. Why is she coming out of the house with makeup? She wants the attention. She's plotting. Why is she wearing them tight clothes? She's plotting. She wants the man to look at her. She's waiting to come across the right guy so she can get him, right? So when that happens, when she does that, Allah said, Inna kaydi kunna azim. When the woman plots, Allah said her plotting is azim, is mighty. Pay attention. If the strongest man in the ends tells you, yeah, this guy is strong, are you not going to think, yeah, he's strong because he knows what he's talking about? But if a weak guy tells you he's strong, you're going to say, bro, you don't even know what strength is. You can't even lift up a paper. Man can't even curl a pen. And you're telling me strong. But when the guy who's the bodybuilder in the ends, he comes and says, this guy's strong, you're going to take it serious, right? So one of Allah's names is Al-Azim, the mighty. That's one of Allah's names. So Allah is Al-Azim. He is the mighty. And He's affirming that when the woman plots, it's mighty. So it's strong. Meaning you can't escape that. You're going to get trapped. No matter how righteous or pious you think you are, you will get trapped. But Shaitan, he's weak. Shaitan, if he comes to you, whispers to you, what do you say? You say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim. He runs away. The adhan, you do the adhan. You say, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. What did the Prophet say? Shaitan runs away and he's farting as he runs away. Shaitan, you guys know this? Shaitan is bursting from his back end as he's running away. He's pooping it, in other words. He's running away. The woman, when she comes, you say, A'udhu billah. She'll tell you, brother, don't say A'udhu billah. You A'udhu billah. You A'udhu billah, brother. Or she'll be like, me? A'udhu billah? Me? And she'll start like crying, brother, feel emotional. Sorry, sister, I didn't mean like that. I was just trying to feel Allah. What do you mean, brother? You really think I'll do that? And next thing you know, she did that. You did that. It's a problem. It's a problem. So for that reason, Shaitan, because he is weak, inherently he's weak. Are you paying attention? You guys are talking again. Don't make me bring you out. Shaitan, because inherently he's weak. He's da'if. And Allah affirmed his dua for us. But the woman, the uzma of her planning, the plotting is mighty. Allah affirmed it. So for that reason, you need to be careful. I want to tell you a story to show you a practical example of this. Our teacher, Ustad, our Sheikh Abdurrahman Hassan Hafidhullah, told us of a story. A brother called him. This brother, he was struggling to find a job. He wanted a halal job. Every job he was getting was haram, 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 haram. And imagine, you need to feed your family, your kids. And every job is haram, haram, haram. And he left all those jobs one by one. He starved, he struggled, he was broke. But he did it for the sake of Allah. That's how righteous he was. So one day he calls Ustad Abdurrahman, he tells him a story. He says, basically, I finally found a job in a halal pizza place. Now, is a pizza place, it's a respectable job in the sense that it's halal living. But is that the kind of thing that any one of you would be like, yeah, I want to be a pizza man when I'm older? And does anyone say, Mum, one day, I will be the margarita man? And does anyone say that? No. But this brother, it was like that. He was like, I'm the pizza man. And you know why he was happy? You know why he was happy? Because it was halal. It was all halal. Shaitan was trying to get him to do haram. He couldn't get him to do haram. So Allah gave him this job. So he's doing a pizza delivery. He's not getting paid much, getting a little salary, but he's like, I'm good. My wife is good. My kids are good. Everything's good. One day, knock, knock, knock. He brings the pizza. The door opens. And a naked woman is standing there. MashaAllah. You know what? That reaction, may Allah keep you pure upon your fitrah. Ameen. MashaAllah. Ameen. The brothers, we could see, the elders, how, this might sound funny, but it's not funny. This is proof, that their reaction is how we should have reacted. The fact that we didn't react like that is proof that our fitrah has been corrupted because of our sins. We've become desensitized to the sins because of stuff we've probably been watching online. And things like that. May Allah protect you guys from this fitna, Ameen. There was a filthy, disgusting, naked woman standing there. It was a game. What did she do? She said to him, I don't have money to pay for the pizza. He dropped the pizza, went in, and you can all guess what happened. They did the filthy crime. He said to our sheikh on the phone, he said, she recorded it. And she sent the footage around. I lost my job, my marriage is breaking down, my kids, everything I'm about to lose. Shaitaan, look, think about this. You think this is the most halal job, wallahi, pizza man. Halal pizza as well. Just going to the house, knock, knock, take it, give me a little, 20p tip, whatever. But when Shaitaan can't get to you through any other means, he will come to you from the women. So for this reason, and I want to bring the sisters in now for a second. I want to divert my attention to them. Sisters, and we'll end on this inshallah ta'ala. Sisters, you need to cover. You need to cover, okay? There's many reasons, there's many ways to protect the men and the women from actually falling into, zina and whatever with each other. But one of the primary things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He told us to lower our gaze, He told the women to cover. He told the women to cover, because if a man looks at you, remember Imam Ibn al-Qayyim said that no one ever did a sin except that he looked at it first. If you robbed someone, you looked at what he had, right? So lower your gaze. When you slept with a woman, when you looked at whatever, it's what you look at, right? So lower your gaze. So the man's supposed to look down and the woman's supposed to look down, but then occasionally the man might accidentally look up, right? So when he looks up, he shouldn't have anything to see. The woman should be covered. She should be covered head to toe, okay? With the jilbab at the very least, or the niqab. And that's the correct and the appropriate hijab. And sister, there is a benefit in this for you. Because the men, when they see you, and they see the way you look beautiful and pretty with your makeup or your tight clothes or even abaya, they've got these tight abayas or whatever have you. When they see that, they are not looking at you as a woman, as a human being. Research and studies have been done and shown to prove that they are looking at you as a piece of meat. As Imam Al-Qahtani said it in his Nuniyah, he said, and just because time is running out, he mentioned that the men, when they're looking at the women, their example is like dogs that are looking at a piece of meat. They circulate around the meat. They'll eat it. And they will not give you no money or no exchange. So the man he's like a dog just going around you. He just wants you. He wants your flesh. He wants to fulfill his desires with you. And studies have been shown that when men look at a piece of meat like a steak, the same part of their brain is activated when they look at a woman who's dressed in an inappropriate way. But when they look at a woman who's covered, he sees her as a human being. So this man, that's why he will have no respect for you or whatever have you. He'll mistreat you. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned two reasons for why the woman should be covered. He said, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَا أَن يُعْرَفْنَ فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ. Two reasons why you should be covered. So that you can be known as what? As a righteous woman, as a woman of piety. Pay attention. That doesn't mean that just because a woman is not wearing hijab, jilbab, niqab, that she is not a pious woman. The general rule is that the women who do cover are pious, but there are some women who might cover, but they might have corrupted hearts. Well, there are some women who may not cover, and their iman is 10 times, 20 times higher than us. But it's not the general rule. So you can be known as a woman who's chaste. A woman who's chaste, who's dressed in an appropriate way, will find a husband who will be a correct man. She'll find a man who fulfills the rights of Allah. He fulfills the rights of Allah, he's going to fulfill your rights. But if you're not dressed in that way, you're not going to attract a brother who's praying 5 times a day, qiyamul layl, memorizing, right? Sisters are like, yo, I want to marry that guy who's going to change me. He doesn't want to look at you twice because he wants a woman that's going to help him in his akhirah. But if you dress correct, you're known. Okay, yeah, that's the kind of woman a guy will want to marry. That's the kind of woman we protect and we respect in the society. Then Allah said the second reason is, فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ, so that you are not harmed. So that you are not harmed. Hey guys, I really hope that you benefited from that video. Before you go, I want to ask you a really important question. Have you guys ever thought about studying Islam and seeking knowledge? If not, then I want you to reflect upon this hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet said that seeking knowledge is obligatory upon every single Muslim. Of course, that doesn't mean you have to be a scholar, but you have to know the basics in order for you to be the best possible slave and worshipper of Allah that you can possibly be. So we decided to provide a solution for this. You see, many people want to study, but they don't have the means or the resources to do so. So we set up an online institute called the Knowledge College, where you can study Islam from the comfort of your own home. So if you want more information on the Knowledge College and you'd like to sign up, go to the link below, check out the website, and hopefully we'll see you on the other side. Assalamu alaikum.